Welcome everyone to this Friday coherence series on these quick 30-minute power classes meant to give you tools and resources to manage your energy, get into the coherent state, which is an optimal state where we can really gain so many benefits for our lives, help us navigate any challenges, anything that we encounter in our lives with clarity, with certainty, with focus, and without draining energy, with really actually gaining energy to help us move forward in our lives, in our creating beautiful lives. So as we are transitioning now from, the summer here, at least here in the United States, is coming to an end, and we're transitioning into fall. But you might be in Australia, and that I know that's different. But nevertheless, at the time of this recording, we are going through a bit of a transition, and in the weather and in the time of year. But whenever you see this recording, just think about that the strategies here are meant to empower you to go through these transitions, whether that is in the large scale, like throughout the year, but also transitions in our day-to-day lives, like from the time you get up in the morning to the time you get to work, to the time you get back to home, to the time you maybe hop on an airplane or go pick up the kids, or whatever transitions that we're going through, that we can be aware that we are managing our energy efficiently, and we're doing things that can help us catch ourselves in the moment where we might be getting out of sync, disconnected, to like, oh, there are things actually that I can proactively do to save energy and actually gain energy. So this is this one I've named Back to School Power Prep Strategies for Getting Ahead of Stress. And again, like, think of this as like a little training drill. You can take notes and go back and forth. But know that we're building resilience, and that everything that we proactively do to be aware of where our energy is going, and be able to get back quickly from stress, from something that that creates a negative energy, that we're building resilience as we proactively bring a tool, a strategy, something. And I'm going to give you some of HeartMath's proven techniques to self-regulate, so that you can build that resilience, because inevitably we will navigate, challenging times. That's part of the beauty of being a human and living in this existence, that we'll go through challenges, but it is our ability to bounce back quicker. That's resilience, and to know how to manage our energy. So yeah, think of it that as a way that you, whatever you're going, whatever, maybe you're not going back to school, but maybe you just maybe wanting to adopt a new habits and just restart your new life, step into another parallel reality where everything that you desire is already there. And how would that version of you do everything? That's another way to put it. So navigating, so this is the graph on emotions and heart rhythms. That's a very basic thing for us to understand as we go through our heart. So basically, incoherence and coherence. The incoherence you see in the top part in red, and coherence, the bottom in blue, that is heart rhythms. And throughout our day, we're going to be in and out of these heart rhythm patterns. For everybody is different. Obviously, our age, our lifestyle, our health, everything, impacts the way our heart beats. But what we can also very much remember and be aware of, is that the feeling that that we choose, and the attitudes, and the kind of like the flavor that we put to things really has an impact. So if we tend to be a bit more optimistic or tend to fall into pessimism on certain things, will color our internal state. And know that even though it's natural to go towards, to have reactions and to fall into sort of a way of doing things in the past that we don't like, that we can choose to shift. And these are the I'm going to share with you some of the practical, proven, science-based ways where we can be proactive about shifting the inner state and getting us to a new baselines. So so that we're being proactive, we're catching ourselves, and we're really shifting our personality to what we like, to how we come to like ourselves. And really, and the reason why I say that is because it is, at the end of the day, it's the feeling that we go for. Everything that we ever wanted in life, it's because of the feeling that it would get us. So okay, I think I'm going a little bit off in a tangent. I'm going to stick to my notes because but I'm just letting things naturally come. So as we juggling multiple things in a change, in a transition, it can be easy to fall into old tendencies, but it is also an opportunity to adopt new ways of doing things. And hopefully here you can pick up some new tools and new ways or new ideas of that it is possible to do things in a different way, where you are loving your life more and in being okay with challenges. Okay, so incoherence and coherence. that's basically this chart. I'll go back and forth because this is one of the basic ones. We move in and out of these states throughout the day. So if we are just become aware now in what may be some areas where, as you look into, for example, if you have kids or not, or if there's a change in the schedule, where there might be the times where there's more stress, like in the mornings, for example, morning rush, or afternoon traffic, or more workload. I know that for accountants, like tax season, or what time what things tend to give you more stress, and just make a note of that, and know that as we this next slide shows what happens when we don't have tools, or when we're not proactive about applying self-managing techniques, what could happen over time in our ability to perform. So this graph is a HeartMath graph based on a study involving the US military personnel, and it shows soldiers who underwent the HeartMath resilience training. Not only, so the blue line on top here shows the ones that received the training, and the ones in the red line did not receive the training. What this shows, the bottom line is the time frame. There's 10 days, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 days. So 2 months they were measured, or it was measured over that period of time. And the challenge level and effort is on the horizontal line. What the top, what it says is the first 10 days, embrace the challenge, and you can actually improve your performance. So as you're moving through this transition, at the beginning, we might be really excited. Things are just like, yeah, it's the new season, new schedule. You've got energy, you're good to go. And then, but then day 10 to to day 2025, it's like this period of maximum efficiency. You're going, you know, still have plenty of energy, but by the day 35, you see a decline in that red line where there was no, you know, in the case of these soldiers, I don't know, you know, like they just didn't have the same level of that embracing the challenger like performance. It just, you get tired, you get worn out, you maybe there's just so many other things, I don't know, like, you know, it's obviously stress, not stress only on the body, but on the mental, emotional state, the nervous system. So that breakdown point, which way down here on day 45 to 60, when you don't have a way to self-regulate, and I'll talk about the different ways, but you can think about maybe in what ways do you currently self-regulate. And by that, here, these in this graph, they were taught resilience training, which is some of the tools that I'm going to share with you in a moment. But also, you know, taking time for breathing, going out for a walk in nature, disconnecting from devices, or that's another. Those are other mechanisms, ways to proactively get your nervous system in alignment. Rest, sleep, eating healthy, drinking water, all those things that we do, taking a Qigong class, or maybe connecting with friends, social, you know, things that get your body nourished. But what we see here in this training, in the HeartMath system, is to get your heartbeat back to this graph, is getting ourselves from incoherence to coherence. If we kind of boil it down to that, that's what we want to be doing every single day, is noticing when our heart is beating out arrhythmically, to finding moments. And it doesn't have to, I don't have to go do, and I know we love meditations, we love long meditations, but it doesn't have to necessarily be waiting until I have time to meditate to actually reset yourself. We can take a pause and get back to get our heartbeat into the blue. That's all, you know, whether that is, again, taking a walk. Is my heartbeat back into coherence? Is my nervous system in alignment? Am I connected to my heart brain? Is everything, do I feel centered? Do I feel energized? You don't have to fully feel energized, because being in coherence also can be, you know, sitting down and just enjoying the grass, looking at the sky, just noticing ourselves. Okay, I'm, you know, my heart, how is my heart beating? That would be a good good easy way to notice, so that we are filling up our tank, and in the days, you know, throughout whatever period of time, you know, if it's, again, that new schedule, what are you integrating into your daily schedule that gets you back, but can also be, and these are the three strategies that I'm going to share with you now, that are so practical, so easy to plug in those energy leaks, to make those quick shifts, so that we can last long and be more fulfilled, not drain our energy. We know, like, all the negative side effects of being in incoherence.
Hey, Eva, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So when you're practicing, which practicing is basically living.
Yes.
How did you, I'm trying to think how to ask this. So I mean, we know whenever we're already in that stressed mode, you know, we get short with people, or you know, we find out that we're holding our breath, or, you know, whatever. But how do you get to where you're in a preemptive state? You know, you've preemptive strike, right? You know,
Like
military term. Preemptive strike means, hey, you get them before they get you.
Yep.
Proactive. So
Yep. That's
what did you do to get into that place where you recognize that you're not there yet? You haven't done it. You're not into the stressful moment, but you're putting yourself very early on so that you don't play out the behaviors or patterns or the emotions.
exactly. Yay. Thank you for asking that question. So that's goes into what I'm actually going to share in a moment. So these are the prep, shift and reset and sustain. These are the strategies that I want to share with you. But what you're talking about there, Cindy, is prepping. And so prepping is like, again, it could be taken as our the morning practice that is a non-negotiable that I have that I want, that I love. I know a lot of you here already do that, but that's the setting the tone of the day. And you do it before anything else, before the mind has time to remember why you were stressed. We catch ourselves before we're like, remember our past self, and we're so that's prep, setting the tone of the day earliest morning. That's great. That's part of prepping. But prepping can also be anytime, like, for example, before a meeting, or before. That's why I was saying identifying certain time frames in your schedule where there tends to be more tension. Like, for example, I know when my girls were little, but I mean, it was like rush hour. Rush hour was morning and afternoon. Like getting out to school on time with breakfast and with like lunch and everything ready to go, getting to leave on time so that they're on time to school. That required prep. That required a quick tool, so that, because I know, like, I'm kind of anticipating to have that foresight that can be a time where there's more stress. So you take a moment to do, now, the quick coherence technique, which I'll share here for those that don't know the quick coherence technique. But it could simply be heart focused breathing to prep. And it could be, depending on your time, like how much time you have, it could be done in a few seconds before, just heart focused breathing. Because remember, all we're going for is to get to the blue. And so in the blue, you have the ability to think more clearly, to come up with solutions, to stay in the present moment, and to not fall into the old ways, and like to be aware that, okay, it could, depending on what it is, but you can sustain that. It really, like, your heart to the best of your ability, to even having the intention and breathing. Like, that's when the technical part comes in, is your breath. When you breathe in, and that's why it's overly said, like, oh, you gotta breathe. You don't, when you're like, I can notice yourself being tense, you gotta breathe. And it's true, we breathe because we come back to getting ourselves into to the best of our ability, connected, back online. And from that place, you can our energy is different. Obviously, we come across the things that we say. Everyone can feel it too. Maybe we stop noticing, but our energy is felt. There's information coming from that if you're in tension, that information is being shared. So when you come back to the breath, you're really shifting, you're changing the energetic output, and which helps not only the interaction, it also helps you become more clear, and our reaction times are also enhanced when we're in, when we're self-regulating ourselves. So the pace in which you say things, or which you move, and your body is responsive to supporting you. I'll get more into it, and Cindy, if you'd like it after after I cover everything, we can go into more detail of the Q&A. But hopefully that makes sense, and we can clarify more in a bit. But so prepping, again, like when you know that there is going to be times, you know, like maybe when people leave for then traffic is going to be so bad. Okay, prep beforehand, take 30 seconds, take 5 minutes if you need to. And then you can, you know, like check with the intelligence of your heart to like, it's not only going to get you into that state, but it can also support you into coming up with new ideas of, okay, what can you do during traffic? Hey, you can like set the intention to, no matter what happens in traffic, I'm going to remain I'm going to be curious, make an attitude shift. So utilize the intelligence of the heart to not only bring you into that state of more clarity, but of putting out there in the field what is going to match your energy. So, all of a sudden, maybe things open up for you. You know, like one thing that I think is so beautiful is that, to come back to the heart, is that we also remember that we're not in this alone, and that there is more supporting us, whether that is our higher self, the field, it's source. So it pays off to come back to the heart. So the shift and reset is okay. No big deal. I got into, you know, I got activated. Okay, this is where this graph comes in really beautifully, which is, I know some of you have seen this before, but this is shift and reset. So, okay, so what this graph shows is a police officer that goes into a scenario, a domestic violence scenario. This is his heartbeat, all what you see there. You see that that horizontal line shows the time, like the time stamp, you know, of how much time passed, and the vertical line shows his heart rate, his beats per minute. So you see that spike going up when he encounters the angry man and the scenario, the actual scenario. His heartbeat goes way up to almost close to 200. Like, well, it's like 190 or something. But then what does he do? He's trained. And this is so cool for us to know too. Like, this system is all over in law enforcement, healthcare, everywhere. But can you imagine a police officer, if they're constantly encountering scenarios where their life can be threatened, and they're constantly in that fight flight? Well, not only is it dangerous for people, because when we're in fight flight, we tend to not have quick reaction times, but we can make mistakes, and that could be very dangerous for people. So you know, so in this is a trained officer in self-regulating his emotion, his inner state, and he knows to shift and reset. And when he shifts and resets, his heartbeat goes way down back, actually, you know, to where it was way before. The difference in someone that that doesn't, I don't have that graph here, but we are not only just creating a cascade of hormones when we have a reaction, it stays. If we don't proactively get ourselves back into center, it's not only like this gush of draining energy, because, you know, our heart continues to beat hours after an encounter, after a stressful reaction. So shifting and resetting is a really important energy management tool, technique, strategy, because again, we never know what is going to happen in you know, in life. We can fall into, you know, it could be something as a surprise, or something that we're human, but shifting and then resetting is what can help us save energy, as you saw in that graph, where, you know, our energy's back, then we're not draining energy, we can think clearly, we can go about our day without that depletion. So the tool to do that with is, so how do you shift and reset, or how do you prep? In this, so this is a graph that shows how we can shift that state internally with something called the quick coherence technique. This is one technique. So this is for your tools, for your arsenal of ways to make those quick shifts. So it starts, I have another graph with all the steps, but well, what this graph is showing is that internal shift inside our breathing, our heart rate variability, and our blood pressure are the internal systems that can get out of alignment, but we can, by our own will, bring it back into alignment. And that's when we are in the coherent state, when that means that all our systems are working in alignment. So that red dot in the middle there shows out of coherence and then into coherence with the quick coherence technique that I'll show you in a second. So that could have been what this police officer did, I'm not sure, but it was one of the techniques. But it has to be everything, you know, all the HeartMath tools. But if you think about yoga, or if you think about qigong, or if you think about going for a walk, everything starts with breath. So and when you focus your attention in the area around your heart, then all our energy, our focus, our attention goes to this intelligent part of our system, and the heart takes, you know, we have to ask it for it. We have to direct it, though. So when we direct it, then that intelligence can, you know, support us in our next steps. So as you see, all the techniques start with heart focused breathing. And then the next step in the technique is we make a sincere attempt to activate a regenerative feeling. So this technique is showing us so many things. When we go into it, like really intricately, and that's what I love about just all of this, is that things are just like deceivingly easy, but they're so profound, so incredibly profound. And step 2 of the quick coherence technique is one of the most profound things, is that by thought alone and by our willingness to self-generate, like to activate a regenerative feeling, we can make this shift. We can go from red to blue. We can go from, you know, it doesn't, you know, we goes from incoherence to coherence. It might not, with practice, so I was going to say it might not happen immediately, because I know if we're way like, you know, our nervous system is accustomed to being too deep into incoherence, it'll take practice. It's like anything. It's like anything that we practice. But that's why we do this inner workout. It's like an inner workout. We get stronger, and things get easier and easier and easier with sincere intention, with sincere, you know, that will to do it. The activating a regenerative feeling could be a foreign thing, but again, I promise you, with practice, it can get really easy. Like, we become resilient. We become incredibly resilient, because it's like our system is, it's like neural pathways are being formed, but then our body responds quickly. That's why it's like becoming an inner athlete, you know, Like, we know high performance athletes, it's like, how do they do that? How do they do this incredible things with their body? Well, it took practice. It took you know, a know-how as well. We can do the same thing with our internal system, but giving ourselves grace that, oh, at the beginning it might be a little hard, but then it'll become easier and easier. So the heart focused breathing is the technique, really the steps, and they were designed this way because it's a protocol. It's measured. We focus the attention area around the heart. We know energy flows where our attention goes. We breathe in slower and deeper. We count to about 5 seconds on the inhale and about 5 seconds on the exhale. And as we're doing this, notice that what your thoughts are. So if you just count, that's all you can do. Because you know, no, like in meditation, our thoughts tend to go somewhere else. We just easy, just simple. Focus on the counting and focus on the breath. And that alone is heart focused breathing. That's the first step. And that alone will slowly start bringing us back in online. And then step 2 is we make a sincere attempt to experience a regenerative feeling. And we can just have the simplest thing, like, oh, I appreciate the blue sky. It's the simplest thing, but you notice that sincerity of having the biofeedback is beautiful, because then you can see it in real time, and having some go-to emotions, like a little playlist of your emotions that work for you. Some emotions work easier than others. Some memories, because you know, you're self-activating, that requires that we think about something. And that's where a lot of people get lost, and that's why it's like, it's so deceivingly easy, because then people are like, oh no, my dog died. Oh, you know, it's like we just find a tune that works for us. And that's, again, that is the simple step. That's a quick coherence technique. And if we only have that one tool, that can get us from a scenario where we're in danger to to coming out. Or if we're going, or if we're I don't want to deviate too much but I just went to pick up a paddleboard, and going in the freeway myself, that could have been an opportunity. You know, it was a great opportunity to practice these tools so that I could complete the task and be like, yes, so excited that I did it. Okay, and then sustain. Let's go back to sustain. So throughout the day, we stay resilient and refreshed. So sustaining, that means that at any moment where I'm changing from to the car to back to the computer, to any transitional time in your schedule, in your, you know, in your day-to-day, you sustain by heart focused breathing, by being aware of where of the way your heart is beating. And this is sustaining, is really awareness, is being in the present moment. We hear this so much, is when we're present, you know, it is the it's the biggest gift we can have. We're aware of what we're doing, why we're doing it. We're not in reactive state. If we heart focused breathe, if we make heart focused breathing the way we operate, it's our lifestyle to just picture, I am going to sustain myself in coherence as much as I possibly can. I'm going to be present, and our life is transformed, rather than thinking in the past or being worried about the future. Being sustaining is really about becoming so present. So those are, just want to be, oh yeah, I'm aware of our time. I know I said 30 minutes, but I think I've gone a little over. But I want to show you that this is, so I'm going to share some links on this recording of where you can find these. I have 21 emotional frequencies. These are 5-minute meditations that are based on the quick coherence technique that are meant to bring us into the state of, these activating these different frequencies. I have 21 different frequencies, but this one's activating compassion. I'm going to share these free tools. There's only going to be like 5, at least as the introduction, that you can test for yourself, and you might already have them. And so they're based on this technique. And when it comes to activating the regenerative feeling, we can be activating compassion, love, appreciation, care, love, all the frequencies. And as I said, we might have our preferred. And it's another way that you can practice, and they're designed in 5 minutes. But know that, again, the whole really point about this class is that we can make quick shifts. It can be in a matter of seconds, with training, with time, that we can get out of that energy drain into a more balanced state. We can stop the energy leaks on demand. And the more we do it, the more it becomes our new personality, a person that things don't faze you. You save energy, you don't age as fast. It's the benefits are endless. So I hope you like this presentation. Know that I'm a HeartMath coach, and if you want all the tools, that's what I do. I teach people one-on-one, and also small groups. Although I will share with you when the next small group is coming up. But I'm going to go to the people that are here live for Q&A, and I hope to see you soon. And remember to always come back to your heart. Okay, bye for now for those watching the recording.
Thank you.